before and witnessed countless times over the course of my life. Those in glass houses should not throw stones. In other words, unless you're a perfect human being, using the force, the collective mysticism, and coercive entity, aka government, as a means to force others to conform to your particular way of life, or how you choose to live, or the things that you choose to consider proper etiquette in society, well, yeah, don't be surprised when that turns around and bites you right in your fucking ass. I've watched, whether it was the war on drugs, or the vitriol that's rampant against those who've had a few drinks and drove. You know, the whole drinking and driving thing. I mean, the fucking feminazis and their male counterparts, I mean, they've now tried to collectivize people that like to have a couple drinks and maybe drive home. They've collectivized drinking and driving to the point where everybody, whether you've had one drink or 20, they want to make you all seem like you're the most vile, despicable people on the planet. Even worse, in some cases, I think they try to paint them as people even worse than pedophiles or rapists or murderers. I mean, you've heard it all, right? But yet, when you're out in public, and I'm sure we've all seen this and witnessed with our own eyes, the overwhelming majority of people that have had a drink or two, or maybe even more than one or two, arrive at their destination without incident, without harm, without any victim whatsoever. But because there is a very tiny, small percentage of those that do choose to drink and get behind the wheel of a vehicle, that do so without any proper regard or respect for others, well, we have collective punishment, mandatory minimums. I, driving my four-wheeler on a old rail bed in rural New Brunswick, suffered and was presented with just how vile the people that are against people who drink and operate a motor vehicle. I had my whole life almost destroyed, almost. But I'm too strong. They couldn't destroy it completely, but they tried. And the whole process, from the very original charge, through the whole entire court process, to the mandatory minimum sentencing, to losing my job, my career, my livelihood, being forced to leave my home because I lived in a rural community, I was completely witness and a victim of this collective mentality of where you try to impose your edicts or your perceived morality onto others through the power of government, through the power of the gun, through the power of force. But yet, a lot of you people that have done so, and a lot of you women, mostly, predominantly, it's mostly women, we know this. But I see you. People like myself, we see you out there every day, texting while you're driving. Texting. You would be the very same motherfucking bitches that would fucking want to see my life destroyed if I had 2 or 3 beer and drove my four-wheeler. You would love to see that because, you would use the hatred and the vitriol. Oh, look at how bad this person is. But yet you would do the same thing, distract yourself or impair your judgment per se, right? Well, like I said before, like I'll say again, what goes around comes around, motherfuckers. Here we are. Proposed textilizer law for text and driving raises privacy concerns. Oh yeah, they're coming for you now. What was that saying? Back after the, after the Nuremberg trials or some shit, after Nazism and all that crap, when they came for the Jews or when they came for the communists or when they came for this, nobody give a shit till they come for you. Well, Now they're coming for you. Now you're going to realize what it's like to be on the end of that stick, where people can use the power of mysticism, the power of government, the power of the gun against you for doing things that you probably feel that, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. Well, you started it. Police don't have the right tools to combat texting and driving, advocates say. Basically, what this article is, I'll start reading it here for you. A proposed New York state law that would allow police to test technology to check if drivers had been texting and driving before a crash without a warrant is causing controversy. Advocates of the proposed law say better tools to help police enforce distracted driving laws will discourage reckless behavior such as texting and save lives. But critics say the proposed law doesn't contain enough safeguards to protect the privacy of drivers. The proposed legislation was introduced as a bipartisan bill in April by Felix Ortiz, Democratic Assistant Speaker for the New York Assembly, and Republican Senator Terrence P. Murphy. It requires any driver involved in a collision resulting in damage, injury, or death to surrender to police any mobile device in their possession at or near the time of the collision. Police would test the device for evidence of use in the minutes before the collision. Results of the test would be used as evidence of a violation of distracted driving laws, which ban texting while driving. So there you go. So here's what it's coming down to. For those of you that don't quite understand that, if you are ever involved in an accident or incident, when the police get involved, what this law will mean, and you know that it starts in one place and it gets propagated everywhere and spread everywhere. It means that they'll be able to take your phone and look through your phone and make sure that you weren't being distracted while you're driving. If you were, well, yeah, you'll be placed in that. You will now become a criminal. That will be a criminal offense. You know damn well that's what's going to happen. I guarantee it. Now, if you want, I could try to say, well, yeah, of course. Well, if you want to do that against people that have a drink or any other fucking thing that you would want to say will impair their judgment, well, yes, in reality, since we're all now on this race to the bottom to fuck each other over constantly, well, in reality, I should be saying, yeah, bring this shit on. Because you know what? In reality, I don't text and drive anyways. So I don't even fucking talk on the phone. I don't really care for that shit, to be honest with you. I'm an older person. I'm not so much into it. But you younger people, a lot of younger people are. Well, now they're coming for you. And you know what? Because you fucks are standing in solidarity with your political masters to fuck with me and allow them to destroy my life, where's the incentive for me to stand up for you fucks? It's not there, is it? And you know what? Maybe I won't. Maybe you need to feel the heavy hand of justice, so you will then come to understand what it's like to be on the other side of that coin. There's no winners in a race to the bottom when it comes to the general masses. In that race to the bottom, that infighting, that putting each of us against each other, the only ones that ever win in that situation are the control freaks and sociopaths. They get to sit back and they're never held to account for anything they do. You know that. The people that are going to pass these laws are not going to be subject to these laws in any way, shape, or form. They can always circumvent and get around those laws because they're the ones that write them. They are the system. They are part of the system. So they get to escape all of those laws. It's only you and I, the lowly masses, that have to suffer the consequences of all this bullshit. I say no. I say reject it. Even though part of me should say, yeah, bring this fucking shit on so some of you other cocksuckers can suffer. Yeah, but you know what? I'm not that kind of person. At the core, in my heart, in my mind and soul, I don't have that thing where I want others to be punished just because I've been punished needlessly. Be thankful for that. Because if I ever was, or if I ever became anything like the rest of you who are like that, yeah, that would not be a good scenario. The only people that should need to go through these kind of vile and invasive techniques, investigative techniques, should be those who rightfully deserve it. But that's never what happens when it comes to giving governments the power to pick who they want to fuck with. Because when you give someone the ability to use a law against you, they won't use it against people that they don't feel are a threat to them or that they don't like. But you've given them now another tool, another law, another bullet in the chamber so that whenever they want, they can pull that trigger. If you piss them off, if they don't like you, yeah, they've got that there. They've got the ammo ready and waiting to use against you anytime they want. Stop using, the proper way for this texting thing is using education, proper education, and inventing methods and technology to help alleviate these potential concerns and safety hazards. That's the best way. That's the only proper way to fight against the potential hazards involved. Using the power of mysticism, the power of government, force and coercion as a means to an end, yeah, that's not the proper way to do it. And it's only going to bite you in the ass. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.